Today we're going to put a manifold and an air filter on my 2003 Dyna White Glide anniversary, and K&N is looking forward to putting this thing on for quite a while now, so we're going to get her done.
And hopefully when we're done, it will still run.
Yeah, that's the part. Yeah.
Okay, these are the parts we're going to put on Rob's bike. We have this K&N air intake, and it's pretty sharp looking. We're going to put it on its in the easy open box. In the easy open box. That must be the element. Here's the body of it. This is pretty. Oh yeah, this will be pretty good. Here's the mounting bracket. It'll be bolted to the engine. This will be bolted to. Then we have hardware. The most important thing is instructions. After we get it put on, we're going to put on a chrome cover. It looks like this. Also in the easy open package. This will be the cover going over the filter element on the upstream end. Here's a bracket to hold it on, and we will, of course, it has its collection of hardware also. Okay, now we're going to install Rob's K&N air charger high flow intake kit. And first thing we're going to have to do is take the existing parts off. And actually in the end we'll reassemble it as a complete unit for storage, because we believe in keeping things just in case we have to go back. To keep everything in track, we're going to use a little tray. Please bear with me, I'm not exactly fast. Now behind these special bolts that hold this air cleaner assembly on, there's a real thin wire that has to help these loops. Yeah, that was he was pointing out some oil here in the air cleaner, I think. Yeah. Not only was the bolt clean, but the holes that it went into were clean. You gotta have that if you want the Loctite to do its job. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. There it all goes. Well, we're going to use our handy parts tray here to put all these loose pieces in. Okay. That's the existing gasket, and it looks like it's been stuck on pretty good. On oily surfaces. And it looks like this is good. A little bit of brake cleaner and a Q-tip. And remove any excess oil. For starters, we're going to take the new bracket and put it up here in place and see if there's a big gap between the bracket and the heads, and there don't seem to be. Matter of fact, that fits up real good and tight on there. I'm real happy with that. All right. Now, we'll proceed further. Drilled and cross-drilled, so you're not going to put lug nut torque on that. And rehearsed it pretty well, so I can move forward like this. Now, this is not in the instructions. This is something we always do to help align the bracket with the carburetor or the throttle body, whichever the case may be. We use a few pieces of short all thread to line the holes. Not only do they go on the front of the bracket, they go on the back also. So in an attempt to keep them in place during... Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to take, it's an old mechanic's trick. Take a little dab of grease, stick it in there, just a little dab. Just a dab. So hold the O-ring in place while we're doing all of our fooling around. A little bit of grease on the face of the O-ring wouldn't hurt none because it acts as a bearing surface. I'm going to do that here on the front. And the back. There's two that go on the back. Now this existing spigot, I guess you call it a spigot, gasket, looks to be in really good shape. And I didn't see any undue gaps when I held the part up there, so we're going to go with that gasket. But before we do, we use Loctite on everything. Now this is Loctite, supposedly Loctite blue. I don't know what color it actually is. But it's your medium strength Loctite. I probably just put in more than I really need. Now, set our bracket up on the studs, slide it on up, and they'll hold it in place while we fool around with the, now these bolts. Now we've already put Loctite in the holes. Now if it's cocked just a little this way, that's all right. There's room in here for that. Take our that's not a good idea. Go this way. Get it on up there, but not fully tightened yet. Just about there. Alright. Now the actual bolt to hold the on here, we take one stud out. Take one screw. Little dab will do ya. Won't take much, just a drop. Run them on down, and then don't put lug nut torque on them, but make sure they're tight. Now these are tight, that's straight. Now we can tighten these up. And again, we know it's a hollow bolt. So that's why we're using Loctite. Alright. Now the head breather feature on this comes through the bolts into this cavity here. You can just see some cross-drilled holes that lead over into those cavities. That's how the heads breathe through here into the carburetor. Whereas what came off is the same thing, using hoses and banjo spacers. That worked. It's supposed to work too. There. Okay. Now the bracket's on, the carburetor is re-supported again. Okay. Next on the list is they give you studs, 4 of them, to hold the throttle body on. I mean the air housing. And you've got your 4 threaded holes here in the back plate. That's where they're supposed to be. Now these studs already have the thread locking compound applied to them, which is nice. The owner's manual gives you a list of what all the tools you're going to need. It's a good starting list because some of on this list wasn't applicable to this application, something else was, but it's a good start. Anyway, I don't know how deep to put these in, but I know they're blind holes. Don't make sure the Loctite's all the way in. Because if they're not in front, the end of the Loctite feels like about the end of the hole. No. 2, 3, I'll tell you now, these studs won't exactly be wobbling loose and coming back out with that Loctite on the job. It's a good thing. Yeah. Next item is a gasket. And it only fits on, well, it fits on that way. It fits on that way. So there is no front or inner or outer to the gasket. You can go either way, just only fits over the studs. But they keep the gasket in place, which is good. Now we can set this puppy up here. Now, it's got a little rock to it, room for fooling around. And it's held on by some little flat washers, some little rock washers, and some really pretty chrome acorn nuts. Just make sure it fits. I'm sure it does. I don't want to be in the middle of an installation and discover I got a bunged up thread on something. Have to take it all back apart, correct that. Alright. All the ends feel good. Okay. Now we're going to set this on up here in place, and we're going to put one nut on it. keep it on vital. It'll be coming back off in a minute. We'll see. Alright. I'm going to start here in the back on the lower one. Start off with a flat washer, lock washer. Aha! Okay, flat washer on, lock washer on. Now, when we put the acorn nut on, we're going to have a do ya. And it'll be fun to get it into its hole. Five 16th wrench. Just get it started because you got everybody else. In the front, lower. That one on. And that one. Okay, the acorn nut. That'll do ya. As I successfully scatter everything all over the planet. And the washer is still there. Alright, one more time.
But you know, she's having the time of her life right now. She's very happy.
I get my fingers to cooperate. Yeah. Have a part fall off and fall right into the parts basket. Well, you're being a son of a gun.
Yeah, your mom's happy.
This one, here in the top front. Yeah, it's meticulous. Yeah, it's boring, but
That's the last thing she
you hope to do it one time.
That's the last thing she wants to
That'll do ya, come on. Come on, get on there. Get a few threads started on it. Alright, now the very first one, it comes back off. Note to self, the next one of these we do, when you get the studs down to the bottom, coming back out about one turn, give that much more for your nut contact. Might be just a taste easier to get these nuts on back in these tight quarters. End of note to self. All four of them are on there. Now you can go crazy on tightening these up and pull the studs right out. They're only number 8 studs. They're not big. And I'm sure there's an established torque value for these nuts, but try to get a torque wrench in here. And on. You don't want to get crazy with these. That air filter element. You see on the end here where it's kind of cut out in the back, that's where your hose clamp will go. And it's got this nice Can-In logo. You want that up front center. So before we get too much further, we're going to throw a little Windex on there. Excuse me, glass cleaner. And is it going to be easier to get to this clamp from up above or down below? Probably from, I'm going to try it down below. Okay. Then we're going to try to walk it on. Clamp over where it's supposed to be. Alright. Can-In. Does that Can-In look pretty straight? This way? That's it. Alright. Now, hose clamp up here. This part of it's pretty much completed. The chrome cover that we seen earlier, we're not going to put it on because I'm not happy with the way it fit. And it's just going to cause grief a little bit further on. I'm not sure it's the right cover for this. So we're going to stay with this right here. Well, here it is. We're done. Looks good. And it's completed.
And let's fire this bad boy up.
Fire it up.
There you go, man.
Ta-da!
I'm loving that.
We'll check it out.
Well, there you have it. We had fun making this video, and we hope you enjoy it. To get your genuine Scooter Tramps merchandise, just go to eBay and put in Scooter Tramps. It'll take you right to it.